I imagine there was a ton of just learnings in terms of the behind the scenes, the finance, the admin, the oversight, how you actually manage the place. And then that's what led into actually founding PFF recently then.
Uh, yes, I think that, anybody who worked with me over those 10 years would say that, of all of the few things that I did right, and I guess really, as an entrepreneur, you could relate to this too. Of all the things you only have to be right once, but we're all wrong a million times. And so, I was wrong all the time about so much stuff. And I think, a big chunk of what made the place such a management success was the fact that I was able to stand on the shoulders of giants, like really surround myself with some bright people along the way and learn. As we made mistakes, as the practice grew, there was a lot that we got to, understand, not just about management in healthcare, but actually about management in every other type of business. The inspirations for Alivio, and I think big reasons why it used to grow, was that it was never modeled after a healthcare practice at all. It was actually modeled in terms of its clinical flow, airports and hotels. Airports and hotels are where I spent a good chunk of the first half of my life. And in watching them and in sitting with friends and parents of friends who had worked in senior levels in printing presses and factories, I got a sense of exactly what you do to make sure that you put the right ingredients in the right place and in the right order, and you end up being able to actually deliver fantastic quality, in a way that's not just efficient but effective. And what PFF does is it brings a lot of what was right, a lot of what we learned at growing a business from vision to 22,000 encounters a year, and offers those to other clinics so that they can ideally not have to make all the same mistakes and just be able to focus on what really matters, right, to grow.
And so one of the things I think is really cool is you guys are actually like getting involved in the clinical operations, sort of doing that back end audit. It's not just billing, it's not just accounting on the back end. You guys are actually like changing how clinics and offices manage their patient flow and what types of appointments they should be focusing on and what their revenue drivers are. Like, how did you wind up coming to that model versus the traditional get involved on the billing side?
Well, I mean, I guess to answer the question with your question, there's a lot of people that are just involved in the billing side, and it doesn't fix healthcare, right? Like we built Alivio to really fix and improve the way that the world manages pain, and I think to a huge extent we did that. And we published studies. We allowed people from all over the world to come in, photograph, take and understand the schematics for EMR. I've consulted for, health systems and health entrepreneurs in different places, and it sometimes just helped groups start up. Like I've been involved at this point in more than one clinic group, and very glad to say that the learnings from all of this stuff, they transpose, right? They go to different things. So, yes, we could build a billing business. There's 100 billing businesses. Some of them are great. Some of them obviously aren't. There's no regulation in that space. There's a lot of people who go to, do a course and then just say they're in the billing business. There's no accountability. But, you know, doctors and clinics don't need that, right? What do they really need? What do doctors really? I mean, you know very well, right? What do you need when you graduate medical school? Well, what you need is a little bit of a sounding board. What you need is a guidance. What you need is a vision to say, I want to build this. I want to build a brand that's meaningful in pediatric care. I want to build, a woman's clinic that actually helps women to not just be great physically, but be strong mentally. Where do I start? How do I do that? What is the right medical record system? How should I be billing? What happens with, third party benefits versus, disability claims? Um, and so being able to offer some of that experience and share it with other clinics is a huge part of what brings our team joy. And at this point, I think we're really fortunate. We've got some wonderful, very unusually experienced executives and leaders and veterans of the space who've helped to grow businesses that are OHIP focused, or multidisciplinary practices, or practices plus products that leverage the brands. People that have come from some of the top business schools and built some of the coolest clinic operations and businesses in the country working with us now. And I think that really does make all of this stuff very exciting. We're more than just a finance business. We don't just do cash flows. We don't just do helping with investments. We don't just do making sure your revenue's right and dashboards. We really do want to make sure that you're succeeding in your business so that you can continue to help more people. And that's really, I think the biggest value that we get to bring to clients, and the biggest value that I get to get from my experience.
And so you pointed something interesting out there. You know, we finish our training and then we're gung ho to get in there and start the business. But often there's a lot of those core fundamental pieces missing. And, you know, you're bringing to the table the passion and the medicine and the enthusiasm. But there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to go into the mix in order to create a successful clinical business and a brand. Like, what are some of the most common things you see medical practices doing wrong? I'm sure there's a long list of things here, but what are those like biggest ones that we're just blind to?
You know what? I want to add a lot of value to your audience, and so I'm going to tell you some of the things that are wrong, but I really want to share the things that everybody has to make sure are right, because making sure that you have things right is such an important component as opposed to just identifying the stuff that's wrong. Everybody has their own problems. Every single professional service business, in a way, is a reflection of the founder or the manager's talent, right, and their gifts. It is very rare that you find somebody who's able to just take their own shit, leave it at the door, and just get the work done that needs to get done. But what goes right? What are the things that I would say that I've seen that are absolutely amazing? When a physician or a leader has a very clear vision and focus of what it is they want to do, that's the best. If you can, as you know, right, as an entrepreneur or doctor, when you say, I'm building Cherry Health, I'm building a place, I'm building the marketplace for locum physicians to be able to actually find a source of truth, right? Forget 16 classified ads, one website where everybody can go and find their job. That is my vision. Who's with me? That is something that's totally critical in healthcare, right? Whether you're going to build a family practice that's focused on just doing, your provincial, your provincial stuff. Or I'm just going to do a walk-in clinic that's focused on low overheads, high turnover, or you're going to build the next, executive health center with annual assessments that's top-notch, or you're going to build, the biggest, most safe and comfortable pain group in BC. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you're really clear on that vision and you share it with people, that is an absolutely important place to start. And then two, is the mission of the business, right? The vision may be, for Cherry to be the number one place that your, physicians should come in the country. But the mission, what is it that we're doing and where are we starting? Being really, really clear with that is also super important.
I'm Dr. Jordan Vollrath, and you've been watching Cherry Live, brought to you by Cherry Health. Please like and subscribe to see more clips like this, or check us out at www.cherry.health, Canada's medical network.